I'm home.
Welcome home, honey.
I'm hungry. What's for dinner?
Well, what do you feel like making, Jennifer?
Master Chadworthy.
How about dinner's ready in 20 minutes, sweetheart?
Do you want me, Master Chadworthy?
So bad, Jennifer.
Make love to me, Chadworthy. Take my shirt off. Hold me, Master Chadworthy. Touch me. You want to make love to me?
Then give us $19.95 a month to make love to Jennifer, plus applicable taxes. State charges may apply. Must be 18 years old or older to apply. Now, I'm a pretty cheap guy. How cheap, you ask? Well, I'm so cheap I've only had Netflix once in my life. I mean, for 1 month, and it was the free trial. I'm so cheap, I don't even pirate games. I borrow them from the pirates and never return them. I'm so cheap, I'm broke. I don't even make money. I pay YouTube to make videos. I'm so cheap that I would never recommend Xbox Game Pass to anybody if it wasn't worth the money. My shirt says NASA, not Microsoft, okay? That being said, Xbox Game Pass has become literally must-play TV. Must-see TV. Must-play video game. Must-play video game. You must play video games because Xbox Game Pass gives you a reason to play all those in-between games you never would have played before. I don't care who you are. There's only so much time and so much money that we as consumers have, so you're probably not going to play every single game you want to. With subscriptions like Xbox Game Pass and of course PlayStation Now, which I've been heavily invested in for the last few months, I can play all these games that maybe I wanted to try, maybe I read good reviews on, but just didn't have the wherewithal at the time. I have the wherewithal with Game Pass and PlayStation Now. So today we're going to be taking a look at the 3 games that have been occupying my Game Pass time for the last few months and have been keeping me warm this chilly, frosty winter. Those 3 games are Rage 2, The Outer Worlds, and my friend Pedro. Pedro. My friend Pedro. Pedro. I gotta remember the R. Can't forget the R. R. So without further ado, we're gonna take a look at these games and see why I'm justifying giving a mega $1 trillion corporation even more money just to play them. Bizarre, right?
You used to pay for gold, and now you're paying double. They're ripping you off.
Shut the hell up, Jennifer. I know. Sorry about that. Things are a little volatile in the household right now. She can be such a C word. Well, let's take a look at these 3 games and see if there's any reason to watch this video. Well, let's take a look and see another classic Chad Hogan live review. And by the way, Happy New Year. We're going in on this whole new decade kicking and screaming because this is the year of Chad Hogan Live. This is My Friend Pedro. It's an action platformer indie game that appeared on Game Pass out of nowhere. It was one of those games that came out on the day and launch of the actual retail release, which in this case, it's a digital only title, so the retail release would be on the Xbox store. But thanks to Game Pass, I didn't have to buy it. And I got to play it and complete it, and I was quite surprised at how good it was. Basically, it's not unlike other indie platformers where you're controlling the balance of gravity with the twitch characteristics of a platformer. That is to say, while you're jumping and landing, you still have to aim your land while you're aiming your shots. It's a little tricky at first. It kind of feels like maybe even, this is a weird comparison, but like Flight Simulator-y, but it's not. It's not as hardcore as I'm making it sound. But the controls actually do this game well, because when you're killing guys, you're using the right thumbstick to aim your shots while you're aiming your body with the left analog stick. So you're literally using both of your hands and your eyes are going multiple directions trying to make sure you land properly and you're not getting shot at in the process. It's quite a challenge while you go through well over possibly 30 levels of just randomness, random bad guys shooting you all for a purpose you're not sure, but there's a banana helping you along the way, and that was the weirdest part. This game reminded me of Bananas in Pajamas, but it's not quite as childish. It's quite gory. You can even kick the decapitated heads off of bad guys. There's multiple different high-range weapons that probably shouldn't be used in real life unless under extreme duress. This guy is a maniac. I don't know if you're the good guy or the bad guy based on the amount of quote-unquote enemies you kill, but you're doing it because a banana's telling you, so obviously there must be a good reason behind it, right? I had a lot of fun. I actually completed this game, and I felt pretty smart after it. I felt like overcoming the challenges made me a better gamer, and I love games like that, especially platform games seem to really be the most rewarding in that type. If you're down for some guts and gore and you want a cool indie action platformer without the cost of an indie action platformer, go ahead and check it out on Game Pass. This was a fun, surprising one, and I hope the developers continue to release either sequels or games that are of its ilk. Well done. The Polish developers are usually the best. This game got a lot of bad reviews, Rage 2, and I was almost prepared in the first couple of hours of my playthrough with this game to give this game a 0 out of 10. It really is freaking broken. It freezes whenever I try and upgrade my vehicle. Still, to the near end of the game, it freezes my game, and it's crashed a few times. That's more than enough to hate this game. And even Angry Joe put this game on his top 16 worst games of 2019 list.
Chadworthy rage quit.
Shut the hell up, Jennifer! If you're patient enough, if you are actually forgiving enough to allow these gaming atrocities to happen, let's face it, crashing is probably the #1 cardinal sin any game can do. If you actually give this game a chance, it's actually pretty good. I love id Software. This game's actually pretty good, and it's gotten me excited for Doom Eternal all over again. And being on Game Pass, you don't have to pay that giant entry fee of $60 just to start it up like you do when you buy a game. So there's not too much risk involved other than a couple of crashes, because you have to have that kind of patience. But there is a fantastic, I mean, look at me, a fantastic first-person shooter here with a ginormous open world, a freaking huge open world with hundreds of side quests that are on the map. They're literally there. You go to them and you do them. It's that simple. The game is challenging. Some of those quests are hard. Some of them you have to unlock by doing other quests. I mean, it's enormous. It's like World of Warcraft influenced this game, but it's still Rage. The actual missions themselves are instances within this big giant open world, and eventually the story makes sense, and there's a reason why you're even in this giant open world, and you figure it out as you go along. I completed it. I didn't think the story was anything superb, but I thought the characters you met rivaled Borderlands in terms of personality and comedy, and I really... God, I've always enjoyed Rage. I enjoyed the first one, I enjoyed this one, and there's not many games I'm willing to forgive just because they freeze, but that's still a big deal. If you can get past that, and I can't believe they haven't patched this shit or fixed it, shame on id Software for that, okay? Because I'm not blindly shilling this game. There's issues, but if you can get past them, there's also a freaking juicy game underneath some of those issues. And being id Software, the creators of said first-person shooter genre, I mean, I don't know, I can forgive them for this. I just hope that they iron out these issues, if they exist, in Doom Eternal much quicker than they have or haven't, as is the case in Rage 2. There definitely needs to be a patch to fix some of these issues, and word on the street is even the PC version is broken as shit. But gosh, I had such a fun time. I really did. It's gory, it's disgusting, it's disturbing, it's just fun. So check it out, Rage 2 on Game Pass. Just mind the crashing once in a while. Ah yes, The Outer Worlds. This is a game that was anticipated for quite some time, and it has been hailed as the spiritual successor to one Fallout New Vegas, mostly because it's being developed by Obsidian, which is now owned by Microsoft, but this is still a third-party game technically. I played it on Xbox One, of course, through Game Pass, and once again, it was absolutely awesome to not have to buy the full version of the game, but I could download the full version of the game. I know that some people still like collecting discs, and I do too, but here's my theory on Game Pass. You play the game for free, and when the game goes down in price, you pick it up so you can own it. Outer Worlds is absolutely worth owning, and it's a fantastic RPG / action-adventure / choose-your-own-adventure, just like Fallout. It's almost the exact same, but you don't have VATS. You have other abilities, you have companions, 2 of which you can take at once. And while the world's not as big, you have a multiple choice selection of which levels you want to do in which order, because your quests come from all different planets. And man, let me tell you, just like Rage 2, there are a ton of quests in this game. Admittedly, not as much as Fallout, but there's a fair amount of quests, and in all honesty, this game took me about 30 hours to complete. I did most of the side quests, but I still think there's a few left over. I only botched 2, and it does keep track of quests you can botch, because you can kill all the quest givers. If you want to be a maniac, you can run around and just kill everyone, and you'll botch the quest, but I don't think you can screw up the main storyline. Eventually, you can kind of choose whether you want to be good or bad at the end of the game, but I didn't feel like those choices really reflected throughout, because I didn't kill the NPCs or the quest givers, and I just did my missions as told. But I still had a fun time. I wanted to complete as many missions as I could before I finished the game, and by the time I finished it, I was absolutely satisfied. This might be a game worth playing through again on PS4, just so I can own the disc and actually get some trophies, because I got a lot of achievements out of it. Just for playing, you'll unlock tons, and I really feel satisfied and rewarded when a game kind of comes full circle, gives you a bunch of achievements for playing it, but gives you a bunch of reasons to play it. Outer Worlds is my game of the year for 2019, and whether you play it on Game Pass, or whether you just buy it or play it on PC or PS4, do yourself a favor and play this game. You will love it if you loved Fallout. But I do gotta say, if you didn't enjoy the Fallout first-person games, you're probably not gonna enjoy this, because it is made in the same vein. I don't see this making new RPG fans, but I definitely see this game converting Fallout fans eventually over to the Outer Worlds 2. I wonder if that will be a Microsoft exclusive now that they own Obsidian.
There we go! Not bad, huh? You're going down!
Man, all I can say about this game, wow. It's not perfect. I'm not going to say it's the greatest game ever, but it's still worthy of a 10 out of 10 just because of how fun and addicting it is. Fun and engrossing. Those are the best terms I can describe Outer Worlds with. What a great episode, and I had a lot of fun doing this one, especially the games I was playing. But maybe next time, I'll try and review some crappier games, and that way we can have a little bit of fun with things. I think for now, Jennifer and I just gotta work on our marital problems and make sure that everything is kosher between us. You feel me on that one?
Hurry up and make dinner, bitch!
Shut the fuck up, Jennifer! Excuse me. I think we have a wee bit more counseling to take care of. A wee bit more counseling indeed. We're gonna have Jennifer stew. Excellent.
Chadworthy wins. Fatality.
Chadworthy hits me!
Shut the fuck up, Jennifer! You still want more? Well, technically, this is a Games for Gold and not a Game Pass game, but I'm still gonna include it anyways. This is River Bond, a game that was released for Games for Gold last summer, and while it looks like Minecraft, it's dangerously not. It's actually a lot more like Diablo. It's an overhead hack and slash game where you traverse through the levels collecting power-ups, which are basically weapons, no armor here, and coins, which assist you along your adventure in buying things. The ability to upgrade is minimum, but it's not about the absolute deep end of the RPG pool. It's about jumping into something and just having shallow hack and slash fun. And that's what I liked about this game. There's so many achievements for it. I unlocked a bunch of achievements because they were of the kill 50 enemies of that kind with this weapon variety. And it really makes you want to go back to earlier levels just to replay them. Just going through the single player story took about, 5 or 6 hours, but it was a good 5 or 6 hour distraction. This is an indie title that I would support, and if I see anything from the publisher in the future, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Riverbond was surprisingly fun and dangerously deceptive. If you didn't pick it up for Games for Gold, it's still relatively cheap on the Windows PC and Xbox store. Definitely check it out.